Hey, my lovely patrons. I had a request to show more the process of doing the threaded running stitch. So I pre-prepared some running stitch here, and I'm just going to bring my thread in from the back. And my stitches are not very straight here or even, but you'll get the idea. So to start, you want to just go, and it doesn't matter if you start over or under, just wherever you bring your thread in. But you're just going to do this kind of under, over, going under the previous running stitch. Now I'm going to go from the bottom up. And the key is to not pierce the fabric or the other stitch. You're just kind of sliding it under. And they're very simple and a lot of fun. It's a great way to get some color play with your thread and have more of a solid line for this particular one, or to make it look a little more fancy with some of the other stitches that I'll show you. So hopefully this makes sense. It's just kind of going along the edge. And I'm going to pull this one kind of taut. So it's just, my original sample looked better because this one was a little wobbly, but you get the idea. All right, so then for the next one, whoops, I'm going to come down here and do a looped threaded one. And these are pretty fun to make. So it's the same idea, except that you're going to leave a loop of fabric and not draw it taut. And you may have to come back and even up the loops a little bit, which is easy to do unless you're doing a really big long line of them. So I'm just going to kind of stitch a little bit and then show you what I mean. Obviously this would not be good on a garment because you would be catching it on something all the time. Now I'm just going to kind of even them up a little bit. Probably don't want to do this if you're a perfectionist. It might drive you crazy, but it is just sort of a fun little finish to something. Takes a plain running stitch and makes it a little more frivolous, a little happy party dance stitch. All right, so that's a single one. I'm just going to make these a little tiny bit smaller so they don't run into my next one. And then I'm just going to go to the back here. So that's very fun. Now for this one, I'll show you a double one, which is also fun. I didn't actually do that in my original samples. So I'll start doing it the same, my loops going the same way. And I really find it easier to do a few and then come back and even out the loops a little bit instead of trying to do it while you're still pulling on the thread. It'll just make you crazy. All right, so we'll just kind of even these out a little bit. and I'm going to take this thread just to the back to give it a little bit of an anchor. Make a little stitch back here. And then I'm going to come up this side and do my loop on the other side. And you can make these smaller or bigger, and the one I'll do next, they'll be quite tight to the, so they almost look like little boxes. Oops, see, I went right through that other thread. That's what you're not supposed to do. You don't want to pierce the other thread because it'll ruin your pattern. It's easy enough to fix. You just kind of spread them out. Oh, I did it again. All right, I'm going to ignore that one just so you know how to fix it. No, can I ignore it? There we go. That's good. You guys are seeing me screwed up, so you know how not to do it. There you go. There's a double one. And I'll do it down here with two contrasting threads so that you can see how that looks. Oops. And of course you could do lots of extra little stitches on there to anchor those down. Add layers of straight stitches coming out the edges. That'd be kind of fun. Building stitches on top of stitches is always a fun process. Can get a little carried away though. At least I can. All right, so this is the same, only I'm going to go through two of these at a time. I'm going to go up here and then up here and then down through both of them. And you could leave these loops bigger on the end if you wanted. And I'll just go to the back, tie off, and come back in with the pink. So I'm going to start on this side. Come down. My loop going this way. Like I said, the hardest part is not piercing your other thread. This would be kind of fun to do if you wanted to do a bigger background piece to fill in. You could do multiple rows of these and play with size and color and all kinds of fun things. And then back this one and then to the back. There you go. So I hope that helps explain it. I always want to have these pop up. And if you wanted to keep them from not moving, you could tack them down a little bit better. You could tack them, you know, make them all even if you wanted them, and then tack a stitch there around each one to make it more even, or just let them be. They're kind of fun. Depends on what you're doing. If it's, you know, a wall piece, obviously it won't matter. If it's a collage or something like that, or in a book, and probably just wouldn't want to do this on a garment. And you can always, like on this one with this pink and this green, you could come back in with another color and lace through again. That would definitely be fun. And there you go. I hope that helps.